Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to Friday. It is Friday, February 7th. We made it. We are here. We are actually almost here. We're doing all right. Just a few housekeeping things. I'm still pretty sick. So if I'll try not to cough or blow my nose in your ear, I apologize. Hide the children, hide the dogs in case any of that good stuff happens. I will be doing my best. I can speak all right, but every now and then, I just explode off into a random cough. So excuse me. Anyway, I apologize for not being here last week. And it's just been a crappy couple of weeks. I had some really good training. Then I got sick. And then here we are. Isn't that the way it goes during the middle of winter? Anyway, before I get into things, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to post them, even if the questions have been asked 1,000 times before. That's what I'm here for, to help. This is the longest running live podcast Q&A in the history of the lifting universe, and that's my claim, but I don't know any of them that are longer running than this, so we're going to go with it. If your questions don't go through, please try going over to, let me see if I can find it here, Instagram app and the barman. You can slide into my DM and post questions. I will always answer every question. So how's everybody going? I hope you had a better week than I did. People have been asking me how the 10-100's going. Eating wise, I don't have the greatest appetite. I mean, some nights I just been getting done with 12 hours of work, and eating cheese and jalapeno is not exactly the worst thing, but not exactly the best. Obviously, the 10-100 has gone to heck because I am not getting in my steps. I'm not getting in my workouts, et cetera, et cetera. And to be honest with you, today, we are trying to get through the day. So we went back on the pink monster. Yes, we did. It's just a survival day, so don't hate me. All right, so let's get on to things. I want to get onto the questions. Attack, move forward. What do we got here? HB, hey, big hairy ugly dude. Do you have any thoughts on smart home gyms? Those digital cable machines you see that are about the size of 2 pillows. I don't know, man. I mean, any use for the price, I don't see value. I'm going to be honest with you. For the price, I think you can do a lot better. I think you can get a lot better value for a home gym. For accessory work, if you're going to spend money and you want to get the most bang for your buck out of accessory work, I don't think those are the way to go. I really, really don't. Accessory work comes down a lot to having dumbbells and lighter dumbbells or reasonable dumbbells for some light work. On leg day, it might come down to having a sissy squat station or leg extension, leg curl. Back work's pretty easy to work at home. Shoulders are pretty easy to work at home, but no, I don't see the value. I'm not going to encourage anyone to buy any of these things. You know, I just don't. I mean, if you have $1 billion and you want a bunch of extra toys, then go for it. But it's like bands. You just can't get a lot of mileage out of them. You can get some use out of them, but it's really not going to get you where you want to go. Rico, how's it going, Rico? Thanks for tuning in. Yes, we are back. I'm sorry I missed last week, but man, last week, just so tired during the day. I just could not make it through. Yvonne, how's it going, Yvonne? Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Big Joe B, a client of mine. Thanks for tuning in. Big JP, John Parker. How's it going, John? While doing chest and back together 2 a week, does it make sense to do only horizontal push-pull exercises on one day, then vertical the next? Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's not going to be magical, but that doesn't mean there's no reason not to do it, right? I mean, if you want to have a vertical pull day where you're doing pull-ups and lat pull-downs and dumbbell pullovers and really having a lat-focused day, and then having a horizontal row for focus day where you're doing dumbbell rows or pendlay rows or seated cable rows or machine rows, you can absolutely do that. It comes down to weekly volume. What is my weekly volume? And it comes down to enjoyment, right? So anybody that might say this is or isn't a good way to do things, is incorrect. As long as your weekly volume is good, as long as you're enjoying it, there's absolutely no reason to do it. Is it going to be magical? No. Is anything magical? No. That doesn't mean we can't do it and enjoy it, right? So I hope that helps. Ice Cold, what's going on, Ice Cold? Happy Friday. There's nothing else better to do other than hitting PRs in the gym before Valentine's Day, right? So you might as well head into Valentine's Day, knocking out some amazing progress. Big CB, Cosmic Bear. Hot take. There are higher priorities for some than weight training. That's life, man. No doubt. I wouldn't even consider that a hot take, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful. In the lifting world, all this talk about optimization completely ignores the fact that we're human beings with families and kids and careers and trying to take care of business. So you're right. All this optimization talk really only works if you have nothing to do other than sleep, eat, and poop, right? So, no, you're exactly right. For people like this, what program could they do to stay fit? Really, most of my programs are set up to be flexible schedules. You probably don't want a body part split because a body part split generally makes you train 4 days a week. You want something that allows a little bit of flexibility, like an upper posterior or torso limb split that allows you to flip-flop a little bit. You could also do like an AB full body, like upper posterior full body or torso limbs full body. And you could rotate between these 2 or 3 times a week. So really any of those programs would make sense. Big Eric, hello, Steve. Hope you're healthy again. We're healthy enough, right? I have done notes for questions for the last 2 weeks. Bring them on. Hey, I'm looking for Big Hairy Ugly Dude. Is he here? I hope so. I'm not AI yet. Harris, how's it going? Harris from Team Massive. Thanks for tuning in. Let me get a drink here. My throat's a little bit dry. Calves won't grow. Try to hit them with progressing weight straight and bend knees. I've gained maybe an inch in 10 years. Eric, the question I have for you is, in these 10 years, is your strength on your calves, your calf exercises so ridiculous that it makes the knees weak of the big, hairy, ugly dude? Okay. If I look at your calf strength number, am I going to ooh and ah, right? Am I going to be like, holy mother of Crom, this man beast, this calves training MOFO has built up his seated calf raise to the point where it shocks me, where it's the equivalent of a 365-pound bench or a 450-pound squat. If not, and I mean this respectfully, you're not training hard enough. Okay. I don't know you. I don't know your numbers. Right. But if we are going to attack our calves and we have put 10 years of work into them, then the numbers have to be shocking. They have to be like, this is like the Tom Platz of calf training. Because, and I don't know you and I don't know what you've done, Eric. I'm just setting the table. There's a difference between 10 years of training and 10 years of holy bleep progression. Does that make sense? So this is a question you have to ask yourself because I don't know and I'm not being dismissive. Calves are very controversial. Some people believe you can't grow them. Some people believe you can't grow them very well. But the question at the end of the day is, have we put into it all that we can? And if we have, then we have the answer. If we have, the answer is apparent. If I were to start out today, and I have big calves, so I don't train calves, right? Don't hate. My mama just gave me all kinds of good genetics. If I were going to start out training you today, we would look for a 5-year plan, right? We would attack, we would have a focused bulk, and at the end of 5 years, your calf strength would be ridiculous. It would be ridiculous because of progressive overload and hard training. So just keep that in mind. Are weighted steps a game changer? They certainly don't hurt. I would have them in the mix. I would have some form of volume. Big Harris, thank you for doing this live and everything else you've done for us. Wishing you the best. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your support as always. Today, we are going to drink 2 gallons of milk to celebrate Massive Iron World Milk Drinkers Day. No, we are not. If we are going to celebrate Massive Milk Drinkers Day, we are going to do so by turning it into ice cream or something. Because if we're going to kind of down that degree of dairy, let's do it sensibly and have ice cream. Ice Cold Tristan. First time close grip pressing 200 for 3x3. Nice work. I'm getting very close to getting a 225 front squat and 315 RDL. Good. Nice to hear it. Wasn't sure if there was a part 2. But good job. I'll cruise along here and just make sure I haven't missed anything. Big Eric, number 2. From your experience, which progression schemes do advanced trainees use, do not use? There's no answer to that question. I mean, that's the honest answer. There's no answer to that question. Advanced trainees use a myriad of progression schemes based on their history. An advanced lifter starts at point A, and then over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, they end up at the end point Z. And they don't analyze the journey. They're not like every step I'm going to evolve my training based on needs. That's just what they do. And they don't over analyze the progression approaches. They just naturally gravitate towards the ones they prefer and enjoy. So there's no answer to that question. It's a non-question, and I mean that respectfully. What do I use with my advanced clients? It depends on the individual. It really, really does. Do I give them more challenging things? Sure, we try things. We try different things. Are they magic? No. We try a myriad of different things, from volume to lower rep schemes to cycles to whatever. Rep cycles, not steroid cycles. Don't get excited, all you weirdos. Just a joke, just a humor. But yeah, we have to mess around with things. It really comes down to the individual. Pushing every set to the limit isn't generally sustainable when you've had 85 to 90% of your gains. Some people like doing more sets deeper, but they might do fewer sets. So I wish I could give you some generic answer, but the truth is there is no generic answer. Big JP. If you are trying to gain size and strength, if you are 20% body fat as a male, are you eating enough? There's no way to tell from a body fat percentage. Okay. If your body isn't low body fat percentage, then doesn't that mean you are not under eating and can still make gains? If your body isn't low body fat percentage, meaning it is higher body fat percentage, then doesn't that mean you're not under eating No, your body fat percentage could be 20% for the last 4 years. It doesn't take much to move something from 19 to 20%. 1% is 1 out of 100. So if you're a 200-pound male, that's 2 pounds of body weight. It could have been hanging around that level. No, we're getting into very arbitrary, and I'm trying to find the heart of the question, and I don't mean any disrespect. If you're trying to gain size and strength, you need to use the massive iron bulking method. And you can search bulking on this channel, and it will bring you to the method that I recommend. Is my method the only method? No. Is my method a very reasonable method and a really good starting point? Absolutely. We don't do fat bulks. The one thing we do know is when it comes to bulking, we have to study the rate of weight gain over time. Is it always going to be linear? No. Very rarely is it going to be linear. But we have to try to force it into a linear nature as much as we can. So body fat percentage doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't tell us the start point. It doesn't tell us the midpoint. It doesn't tell us the end point. It's just a number. Does that make sense? Amanda P. Good to see you, Amanda. How to avoid back foot discomfort during Bulgarians. Number one, take it from my experience. Stop doing Bulgarians. Just a joke. Back foot discomfort. I don't know, man. I've never heard of anybody having it. The body is weird, so I'm not surprised. Everyone has unique issues, right, in training, and to say they're all unique is not an understatement. I would need to know more information. When you do a Bulgarian, you lower the rear knee towards the ground and you push up with the front foot. So I would like to see your form just to make sure you're not doing anything uncomfortable or, that you shouldn't be doing. So please, by all means, get that to me. And if you guys have not joined the Team Massive Discord server, please do. Check out the link in the 2 videos I put out this week. Not to go down a rabbit trail, but we have a really good community. And, a lot of people don't like community. They don't feel comfortable with community. But if you're tired of trolling and bad information and you want to be a part of a good community, please join Team Massive. Check out the Discord link in the last 2 videos. Big Eric. I want to reduce my training frequency from 3 to 2 days per week per body part. Fair. Scared of you won't detrain. It's all about weekly volume. Frequency is not magic, so you're going to have to do through. I mean this respectfully. You're going to have to go through some cult detox, right? You're going to have to go through some mental detox rather than physical detraining, because training 3 days a week is not a requirement. Getting less, you're not going to get less results, and you're not going to unlearn the movements. If anything, if you're doing the same movements over and over again and you don't have any variety built in, you're probably cutting yourself a little bit short. I'm not going to sit and try to persuade you, Eric, because that's something you need to move on from, but there's no magic frequency. In the long run, it's all about weekly volume and hard training. Always has been, always will be. There's no magic. There are people out here selling you magic programs and selling you magic frequencies and selling you magic S-tier exercises and selling you magic everything, and and I want you to hear me, they're all full of shit. There are many hills I won't die on in lifting, but this is a hill I will die on because it's the gospel truth. They're all full of shit. There's no magic. The magic is within you. The magic is consistency. It's hard training. It's progressive overload. It's a reasonable selection of exercises. There's no magic frequency. It's not like if you move from 2.5 days per week training biceps to 3, that all of a sudden you unlock the magic box of gains. Nothing could be a bigger lie. Repeat, nothing could be a bigger lie. Repeat, nothing could be a bigger lie. It's not like if you move to this influencer's magic S tier exercises that you're going to unlock the big box of gains. Nothing could be a bigger lie. Nothing could be a bigger lie. These people are lying to you. The obvious question is why? I don't know. Everyone's different. Maybe they have a big ego and they want to get on this box and say, here are the S tier exercises that I'm going to give to you because I am the God of lifting and I have made my commandments and I wrote it to be true and I shall share my knowledge with you. And my knowledge is the only knowledge that matters. It is my commandments and everybody else is incorrect because it is me and my mama likes me. And my mama says I'm a pretty neato person. And my ego is so big that I can't take a look at the last 70 years of lifting and figure out that there are no magic exercises. There are no magic programs. There are no magic intensity techniques. And everybody like this is full of shit. Can I get an amen? It's the truth. They are putting you in a box. They are locking you in their box. And they are full of shit. I don't care who they are. They need to come to their own point of realization that they're full of shit. And 10 years from now and 20 years from now, when I'm taking the dirt nap with all the worms and all I have left is bones, I'm still going to be saying the same message over and over again, maybe in the form of AI. They're full of shit. I'm here to free you from this nonsense. There's no magic. There's no magic frequency. There's no magic exercises. There's no magic S tier, this or that. It's all hard training and progressive overload applied over time with a wisely constructed and focused bulk. Period. End of story. I'm going to make a video next week, and I'm not a body part split, bro split guy. What I am is it doesn't fucking matter guy. I'm going to make a video next week to show you the era when I first got into lifting. It was the complete opposite. It was body parts are goat and everything else is shite. That's not my opinion. That's how it was. If you look at my articles over on Muscle and Strength when I got in the industry, and you look at all the natural champions, I could pull them up right now. Mr. Minnesota, Ty Din, Mr. North Carolina, Joe Arablo tunes in every now and then. I am going to pull up all the natural champions that I profiled back in that day on video this week. Every single one, nearly, probably 99% used a body part split. Champions, naturals, real champions, top tier champions, period, end of story. Am I trying to persuade you to use a body part split? Hell no, I'm not. Back then, I was telling people, and we were telling people on the Muscle and Brawn forum, that frequency training was viable, and they were laughing at me. They were laughing at me. The bodybuilder on Muscle and Strength who ran the forum, who was the head admin on the forum, asked for me to get fired because of this scandalous belief that frequency training would work for naturals. He asked for me to be fired. I'm going to make a video this week that's going to detail what it was like back then and how it was completely opposite. And the point here is not to pull anybody into a frequency workout or into a body part workout for the love of all things holy. It's to set aside the belief that there's magic. These influencers are full of shit. Excuse my profanity. You need to stop supporting them. You need to detox. Anybody that's giving you magic exercises and not the bigger picture, that it is a weekly selection of exercises that matter, not one single magic exercise, is full of shit. They're placing you in chains, not setting you free to train smart. Anybody that tells you there's a magic frequency, I don't care how many doctorates or fake doctorates they have in front of their name, they're full of shit. Because they do not have the intelligence, the wisdom, and the insight to understand the nature and the history of training. And it doesn't get more scientific than that. You start out today, it doesn't matter what frequency you use. It doesn't matter as long as your exercises are reasonable. It doesn't matter the program. If you train hard and you progressively overload, you're going to get to an amazing place. All right, ice cold. I found there's nothing wrong with starting first with an exercise that uses the lightest load, then moving on to heavier exercise. That's fine as long as you adjust and listen to your body. There's no magic way to train. Just don't do anything that's getting you hurt. Big Eric, as always, thank you. Thank you for tuning in, Eric. Anything I say on here, all the profanity and all the passion, it's not faked, it's not forced, it's not phony. I care, and everything I say, I believe to be the truth, as deep into my soul as I can even begin to dive. This is how I'm going to die. And you know what? 99% of the lifting world doesn't even know I exist. And I appreciate those of you that give me a chance to speak the truth, because it is all about your results. And I know it is hard medicine to take, and people think I'm attacking their favorite influencers when I say their doctorates or fake doctorates in front of their name, or that they're wrong. I know this hurts some people's feelings, but we're not here to care about our feelings. We're here to get results, right? And the best thing you can do is detach yourself from any influencer, any voice, and see the bigger picture, and that includes me. But whatever you do, always remember that lifting is not that complicated, and it is not a narrow, granular path. These people are lying to you, either out of ego or ignorance, or just because they want to make a few bucks. I want to make a few bucks as well. But you know what? I coach for a living. I'm able to do that, and I thank everyone that gives me the opportunity. Big Lee. Hope you're feeling less ill this week, a little less ill. Thank you. And the hypertrophy gods bless you with +1s. At this point, I'd be happy with just any lifting. All right, I hope I muted that out. Shelly, how's it going, Shelly? Client of mine. Apart from the scale, what are some signs it's time to end a cut? Well, the first thing we have to do before we end a cut is say, do I have room to not bulk? If not, then we don't need to end the cut specifically. We need to pause the cut. Because if you can't move on, not just you, Shelly, but anybody, to a proper bulk, then you haven't done a proper cut and set yourself up for success. And more than likely, we just need to pause the cut. Does that make sense? What if you have cut fatigue and you decide, I just want to bulk for 2 months, not 3 or 4? That's fine. We want to maximize the bulking period over the course of the coming year, okay? So if you're a little bit like spinning your wheels on a cut and you feel like you can't do a full, 4 or 5 month bulk, doing a 2 to 2.5 to 3 month bulk is fine. Just don't make it sloppy Joe. Just don't make it slops. Because if you are struggling, and I'm not saying Shelly in specific, I'm saying anyone, if you are struggling with a cut and then you bulk like a piggy wiggy, now you have to cut more and you just came out of a zone where you're struggling with a cut. Does that make sense? So if you are struggling with the cut and you need to turn it around, you better be precise with your bulk. Right? Does that make sense? Big Lee. And yes, that is what I actually look like in my shorts. Not all of us Brits are huge Hugh Grant looking twinks who speak with posh accents and sip tea with a tiny plate pinky out. Yeah, fair. I've had so many clients over the years from all over the world, the UK, Ireland, Scotland, all over Europe. It's been an amazing blessing, and I absolutely know that. One thing I will say about my UK clients is that they're generally more polite in a good way and civilized and educated than the average American. That might sound like a slam, but our country really has taken a turn for the worse. And we've moved to an idiocracy in many, many ways. So most of the people that come to me from the UK are extremely bright and thoughtful, well-mannered. And I appreciate the base of your society. I'm sure you guys have dregs just like we have dregs, and I don't mean to, be like such a naysayer about my country, but in America, we've definitely taken a few steps back. Ice cold. Since I've decided to start lower body B with power cleans, then did one warm up set front before moving to working weight on front squats and RDLs, and there's still enough time to do accessory work. Trying to follow you, my friend. Because after the power cleans, I then moved over to front squats and then to my RDLs. Okay. I'm only going to do this for lower body B. Okay, that's fair. As long as your overall weekly volume is fine, that's fine. I mean, anything you guys have done, I've done at some point. Probably during the mid 2000s, I messed around a lot. I've done my share of power cleans. I've done my share of front squats, etc. So there's seasons for everything. Just, don't be afraid to move on if you don't like it. Woodulus from Scotland. How's it going, my friend? Greetings. Just how strong was the bearded beast of Duloc? Legend has it that back in the day when there were only 82 people that almost hit a 2,000-pound raw total, that the bearded beast of Duloc was somewhere around 1,900, give or take. But legend has it he nearly ate himself to death with type 2 diabetes and depression and never quite reached that level, but that's okay because good things happened to the bearded beast of Duloc, and he did not pass on, and he remained to fight, and all of this came from that moment, and it's been a huge blessing. All right, let's get a drink. We're about 35 minutes in. Let's continue on. Before I move on, if you guys need coaching, please head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com. I'm pretty booked up. I stay pretty booked up this time of year. But if there's always something going on, or I just have room for one client. So if you are interested, check out the coaching tab. I'm not a check-in once a week guy. Coaching is what I do for a living, and I check in Monday through Friday. I don't bother you on the weekend, but we do form checks daily. We do workout assessments daily. I have questions for my clients daily. I try to stay in the soup. I try to stay in the mix of what's going on, and I try to provide accountability. I got all kinds of other things at my website, books, lots of apparel. If you just need some quality lifting apparel, tons of lifting apparel over there. Support the Massive Iron brand. I would appreciate it, etc. All right, where are we at? Let's find where we're at. Barbell Beauty, thanks for tuning in. Big Ernie, how's it going, Big Ernie? Thanks for tuning in. What's the first thing that you think of when you see someone who's overweight, and what advice would you give them to help them get back into shape? I wouldn't say I necessarily think of anything specific. In general terms, in dealing with folks that are struggling to lose weight, I know the battles because I've been coaching long enough. I know the allure of fast food. I know the struggles with binge eating. I know all the battles that they're going through, and I know they're not easy. I do. And there are people I'm working with right now that I'm desperately trying to reach. And that might sound silly because I'm in contact with them 5 days a week, but I'm trying to reach them on a deeper level. I can talk about planning and I can talk about damage control and I can talk about all these things, but I can't make it click. I can't, no matter how much accountability a coach does, no matter how much they talk, a lot of times we're running around putting fingers in dams. And that's good because we are holding the ship afloat. I do not judge anyone and I'm not making excuses for anyone either. It is not my business to judge. Everybody has their own journey and their own path, and they've had their own struggles. And I don't try to make it my business to judge people. I try to make it my business to help people that want to escape. There are influencers out there and there are coaches out there who spend their days making fun of obese people, mocking them. I'm never going to be one of them. I'm never going to be one. That's not the way I roll. I want to put my time and energy into helping those that want to be helped, whether it's obese or whether it's just lifters that want to make progress. But I'm going to tell you something. And I said it on Massive Iron this morning, Team Massive this morning. And I nearly typed out some big ass thing for social media, but I didn't release it. And I might swear a little bit. And I want you maybe to turn down your TV or turn down your volume or hide the kids or hide the dog. But I do not give a fuck about people's excuses. I do not give a fuck about their excuses because I don't give a fuck about my excuse. I'm not insensitive. And you're saying, hey, you just said everybody is different and everybody has different struggles and you don't judge. I don't judge. But I'm going to tell you, wherever you're at, whatever you got going on, you need to become the person that pushes back against your own excuses because that is what will create success. You might have a lot of things going for you. You might have a lot of struggles, but you need to wake up and say, I do not give a fuck about my excuses. You need to push back against your excuses. It can't be something different every fucking day of the week. But I will tell you, people that are not being successful make up a new fucking excuse every day of the fucking week. And very few of them are valid. And again, I'm not here to judge, but I'm telling you, if you are not successful and you're in the hamster wheel where you're not moving forward, you are not pushing back against your own fucking excuses. How many of these excuses are really valid? You have to be the one that pushes back against yourself. You have to make that a lifestyle. If I walk down the steps and I feel like my knee is just off today, I tell myself, I do not give a fuck. Let's figure out what I can do. You have to be that one. You have to be that person. You have to be self-monitoring. If you want to be successful at anything in life, you have to be self-monitoring. You have to push back against yourself. Every day I wake up as a coach and I see the hamster wheel of excuses. Not from everyone, obviously. And sometimes good people have excuses. They just have bad days. It's okay. I'm not telling people to be perfect. What I'm telling you is rise, my children, and fight. The only way you're ever going to win a battle is to know it's a battle and to fight. The people that do not rise and fight will never win. You have to be self-monitoring. You have to push back against your excuses. You can't tolerate your own bullshit. If you look back at the week and you start to list all the excuses, Monday, I didn't sleep well enough. Tuesday, my boss was an ass and I had stress and was stress eating. Wednesday, the wife came home with chicken powwow or whatever the hell she did, and she was having a bad day. Thursday, your cat got sick. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every fucking day it's something else. And the excuses just mounting every day. It's some bullshit. I see this over and over again. Excuse of the day. It's the excuse of the day. It's the excuse of the day. And what I want to see is instead of the excuse of the day, I want to see somebody fucking fighting back. Because then we're in a battle and then we have a chance. It's not that I'm insensitive. It's not that I don't care that Mr. Fluffykins is sick. It's not that I don't care that your wife's having a bad day. But there's always something you can do better. If your wife had a bad day, it doesn't mean you need to eat 10 servings of Kung fucking Pao chicken. You fucking pig. Get your shit together. You can be sympathetic to your wife. If Mr. Fluffykins fell down the steps and your little poo-poo kitty is having a bad day, it doesn't mean you need to eat 2 tubs of ice cream. Get your shit together. Valid excuses, push back. Are you hearing me? I say this out of love. I say this because I care. I say this because this is what it's going to take. Many of us, before it clicks, we live in a world where it's just constant hamster wheel of bullshit. And we have become self-enabling, self-defeating pieces of horse shit. Oh, he's just standing up there on this high mountain. This is stuff I tell myself every day. I learn the value of pushback. Am I perfect? No. Do I make plenty of mistakes? Absolutely. But you gotta be ready for war every day, my friend. You have to be ready for war. There's a war going on. It's trying to steal everything you want out of this life. I want you to think about all the things you want out of this life. Big goals and little goals and things you want to achieve. And that perfect life and that perfect body and that perfect stuff that's just rattling around in your head that you want so desperately. You do want it desperately. But you might not even be aware of what you need to do. Now, there's a lot of self-help books, and there's a lot of this, and there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of the other stuff. But the biggest thing you need to do is push back. I don't want to go to the gym. I do not give a shit if you want to go to the gym. That's what you need to tell yourself. I do not give a shit if I want to go to the gym today. I can't plan my meals. I do not give a shit if you don't want to plan your meals. If you want to go from point A to point B, that's what it's going to take. And trust me, these little things are not big things. Getting in your car and going and doing the first set is not a big thing. You're making it into a big thing. I can't possibly plan my meals. I can't possibly track. You can. You're not fighting back. Either you fight back or you die. Either you enter the battle and you try to advance or you retreat. Ian, how's it going? Ian from Birmingham. Big Rob. Hey, Steve, for the 2-set protocol you made, do you recommend a once-a-week frequency or twice a week? Doesn't matter. You want to look at weekly volume as with everything. Like, what is my weekly volume per body part? And then you want to fasten together a selection of exercises that you enjoy. Excuse me. That allow you to get to this weekly volume. So let's say you're doing 2 sets per exercise. You have to determine, do I want to do 8, 10, 12 sets per chest, quads, back, whatever. Okay, so you're doing a 2-set protocol. Let's say you want to do 10 weekly sets for chest. That's 5 exercise slots. Do you want to do bench twice in 4 sets? You could. You know, what else are you going to fill in the gaps with? So there's really you can slice and dice it any way you want. You just really have to keep an eyeball on weekly volume and have a reasonable exercise varieties, reasonable selection of exercises. You don't just want to do 2 exercises for 10 total sets. At minimum, you probably want 3 exercises. Generally, 4 is going to be a better choice. It's not that more exercises is generally better, but if you really want to attack hypertrophy, it's a good idea to have a little bit of variety. Does that make sense? Big Michael, a client of mine, thanks for tuning in. Because of my work schedule, I had to split my liggy day. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. This is something I was thinking about making a video about. Like, if you do quads that are also going to involve hamstrings, you could do quads one day and hamstrings the next. There might be a minor residual amount of, soreness. Like chest, you could do chest now and then triceps later in the day or tomorrow. You generally don't want to do the more minor part involved in the equation first. Like, you don't want to do hamstrings on Friday and then quads on Saturday. You don't want to do triceps the day before chest. You want to go into the big hitter fresh, and then you can attack the smaller hitter or the step down, if that makes sense. And good to see you back. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. I hope you'll recover 100% soon. Cheers and a great immune system high five from Berlin. Michael was the member of the month on Team Massive this year, a huge contributor, and I can't thank Michael enough. Big Peter, what do you think about using a slingshot? Yeah, I own a slingshot. I've had a slingshot for, 18 years. You can use it as much or as little as you want. It's a really good tool. It's a fun tool. It's not going to limit your chest gains. It's not cheating. By all means, man. By all means. You can use it at the end of a bench session. You can use it at the beginning of a bench session. Whatever you prefer in any way you want. Big Carl, how's it going, Carl? Thanks for tuning in. Big Jeff, how's it going, Jeff? Thanks for tuning in. Good morning, Team Massive. Neo, how's it going, Neo? We got the gang all here today. My coach can beat up your coach. I beat up myself in my head every day, like I just talked about, Neo. Good to have you on, my friend. Big Joe B. Can you build reasonable size legs, training them just once a day, like body part split? Yeah, that's all I've ever done. Hasn't held me back. Yes, you can. Free yourself from that frequency box. The thing about leg training is, even if you go in and do a half season workout, like let's say you just did squats and leg extensions, you're probably going to be sore for a couple, 2, 3, 4 days, right? Your legs tend to be sore a little bit longer for me, making frequency sometimes a little bit more challenging. Big Ernie, in your years of coaching, what excuses have the most detrimental to your client's success? Well, I just kind of went on a rant about excuses. I think I wouldn't call them excuses. There's habits that contribute to less than optimal results. So if somebody gets involved with coaching and doesn't check in daily, I say, I'm going to check in daily, Monday through Friday. If I don't see them putting in that effort, I'm not going to take up a lot of their time, right? 2 minutes a day, but we're going to connect. If I don't see somebody but once a week and I'm asking them questions and they're not there, then people get busy. I get it. But if it's a recurring thing, there's not a lot I can do to help them. We just talked about the cycle of excuse and not pushing back against your own excuses. Lack of planning is a huge one. Folks that don't, for whatever reason, or won't plan, they just go around all willy-nilly, as mom used to say. You keep trying to pull them back into planning, and like life is a buffet for some people. They get up and they want to do whatever they want to do, and they don't want to plan, and they act like planning is the hardest, most impossible thing in the world. I can't possibly plan what I want to eat tomorrow. Well, let's analyze 3 fast food places and pick one meal from each right now. Takes 2 minutes. I'm not being facetious, but I'm being a little bit facetious. Come on. Planning is not that hard. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Plan. You have a big goal. Let's make at least a framework. So people that don't want to plan, people that don't take bulking seriously, that's the graveyard of gains. It is. They might not want to do it. They might not want to gain weight. They might not want to tell you they don't want to gain weight. I people like that. I understand. Excuse me. The fear of gaining weight. I do. And bulking can be an intimidating thing. But on the other hand, if you are serious about training and you're not doing it and not giving it a try or not trusting the long-term process, you are not doing the process. Right? It's not easy. Bulking is not easy. This whole process of building muscle is simple, but it's not easy. It requires a lot of repetition, and training and bulking and cutting and training and bulking and cutting. It's a lifestyle. It's not for everyone. I did a video, this week about people after 10, 15 years of training, and I could see they had a lot of good things. They were eating healthy. They were exercising regularly, but they're missing the things. Many of them are missing the things that I'm trying to reach to you. Focus, bulking, progressive overload, the 2 big things that most people miss. So, Eric, calf growth question. Thank you for your answer. Thank you. Definitely not strength numbers to kick you out of the chair. Yeah. I mean, we're not chasing strength for strength's sake. We want to get good mechanical tension, but we have to, after 10 years of training, if your strength numbers aren't making us enter a state of shock and awe, then the training hasn't been hard enough. It's just as simple as that. No offense, man. I was 180 pounds, 5'11", doing well. Due to personal issues, I'm out of the gym. Been 5 months. Happens. I'm now 145. I want to get back to my old self. Number one, come let me help. Come let us help. Even if you don't want to sign up for coaching, you can come over to Team Massive. Let us be your support system. The first thing we need to do is start moving that needle. So 5'11", 180 is pretty reasonable. The first step is for us to get to 170, but we don't want to be sloppy Joe. We do want to eat in a surplus and train hard. Let that weight naturally come back. We're not fixated on a specific rate of weight gain, but we want to get in a nice surplus and we want to train hard. So I would have to see your physique to see what you lost. But, I think if you've lost a lot of weight, muscle memory is going to be your friend. So understand you're probably going to gain that back pretty easily. You just need to allow your body to be able to do that and not think you're gaining a lot of fat. I would definitely probably try to add about 7-8 pounds a month. By summer, I would want to see you back up to 175, and then we can reassess. This might be controversial, but having an athletic physique is always better than the bodybuilding physique. I guess it depends on what you mean by the bodybuilder physique. I don't want to look just athletic. I like being, it's not controversial. It's your opinion, and you have a right to look the way you want to look. But, having your opinion doesn't negate everybody else that doesn't want to have an athletic physique. And I guess it depends on what you want, the bodybuilder physique to look like. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to show you something. So just hang tough. Hang tough. Don't go anywhere. Hang tough. Don't go anywhere. Let's get some posts here. Oh my goodness. Post from you. Da. I was going to try to pull up a photo of mine, but Facebook's been acting weird lately. Just give me 1 second. That's a pretty reasonable photo. All right, hold on. I think we found something. Hold on, your pantaloons. Present, share screen. Okay. So after I lost 100 pounds, I lost a little bit of muscle during the process. You can see I was pretty aggressive with my cut. I was fit, athletic on the left. And on the right, you can see I gained back about, 7-8 pounds of muscle. It's a very flattering picture on the right, but you can definitely see I got my muscle back. I mean, which one do you want to be? It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. Not everybody wants to be maximum muscle mass, but all right. Did that. Not saying we should only do box jumps and plyos, but we should train movements during physical freedom is really up to the individual, what they want to do. Life is too short to create rules. I like trail running. I like long distance running in the woods. Just because I like it doesn't mean anybody else needs to like it. Right? You might like bowling. I don't care. Life is short. Go bowling. I'm having a hard time keeping my elbows and shoulders still the stronger I get on barbell curls. What do you suggest doing? Discipline, man. Discipline. you're probably getting to, I don't know, you might be getting to a point where you're just becoming sloppy a little bit. When you initiate the curls, your elbows have to be at your side. Okay. You have to think elbows start at my side, initiate the curl. And then as you curl up, your elbows can rotate up to facilitate a contraction. It's almost like you're punching yourself in the face. At the bottom, when you bring it down, you want to relax your biceps. Want to make sure your biceps feel relaxed a little bit. Okay. And then from there, you initiate the next rep. I don't know if you're getting slops, a little bit sloppy. Sometimes it can just kind of creep in. But if you want me to look at your video, I'd be happy to look at your video. Big Wesley, how's it going? I added 3 large pancakes and 3 egg breakfasts every morning for my 2 boys. Bulk works well. Nice work on the trap bar. Nice work on the bench. You know what? I wish I could train more athletes for football. You know, I see some of the stuff they're doing with these athletes, and you're on a better track than they are, a far better track. You're making them strong. You're putting on some size, some good size, and you're building a unit. Nice work. Let's build a unit. What do you think about this split? Monday, chest, back, side delts. That's a lot. Upper. That's an upper workout. Chest, back, shoulders. Tuesday, arms and quads. That's a limbs. So you went from torso to limbs. Limbs are arms and legs. Torso, limbs, and hammy whammies. So that's torso, limbs. Wednesday, junk day with more side deltozoids. Thursday, you're back on chest with fatigue delts. This is where we get stuck in the pudding. No, you need a rest day between push days. Delts are push days, chest is push day. You need a break in there. And you're doing more. So it looks like you're overdoing the side delts a little bit. I would pull them out of the soup on Wednesday. You want to go into your chest day nice and fresh with those side delts. Wesley. Okay, we got that one. Sorry that sometimes it duplicates questions. After your program, after your feelings, fitness influence advice, look big, eat big, grow beyond your expectations. Not complicated. Not complicated. Come join the cult of massive iron. Thank you, sir. Zionic, how's it going? Hey, Coach, happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you again, helping everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I can't thank you enough. Ice cold, Tristan. Can you walk through how the 5-10-10-20 protocol works? And can I use this protocol for everything else? Yeah, I mean, don't rush in to make it a cookie cutter program for every other body part. Because like on squats, doing all those high rep sets, probably on squats, you might be better off doing a 4-8-8-12. On overheads, maybe 5-10-10-15. Don't hesitate to adjust it a little bit. Okay. What happens is you will find that lifters that are struggling a little bit on their bench press need a little bit more volume, or even on any lift need a little bit more volume. And there's kind of a central nervous system trick that takes place here in this protocol. You'll put a weight on the bench and you'll do 5 reps with it. And then you'll put that same weight on, you'll do 10 reps. And it'll feel slightly lighter even though you're doing 10 reps. On the third set, you're going to find it feels even lighter. And that third 10 rep set is more smooth than the second. By the time you get to the third, your central nervous system is running like a scalded dog. And you can usually comfortably plow through reps. So there's a little bit of CNS going on. There's a little bit of minor cumulative fatigue. And it's just a fun protocol. So I wouldn't rush. I wouldn't use it on deadlifts, not at all. On squats, I'd probably do 4, 8, 8, 12. On overheads, you could do 4, 8, 8, 12, 5, 10, 10, 15, or 5, 10, 10, 20. Aaron, how's it going, Aaron? Thanks for tuning in. How do you feel about upping cardio during a deload week? That's fine. I normally do one 20-minute session a week. That's absolutely fine as long as you enjoy it and you feel fresh going into your training week. All right. We got fat leg, the leg of fatness. I'm running your upper posterior 3 to 4 days a week on a flexible schedule with great results. Can I keep doing it if I train twice a week for a while? Yeah. Just continue to rotate. The only thing you need to worry about is like if you get more than like 7, 8, 9 days away from squats, then you might need to adjust the schedule a little bit. You could deadlift every 2 weeks without real issue because you're doing an upper body once a week. You're not really going to see any issue with your presses. Squats are really the only exercise I don't like to get more than 8 or 9 days away from. So just keep an eyeball on that. As a follow-up, I was thinking I have a little bit of a stomach, then I wouldn't need to bulk since I'm not too lean. I thought if I would need to bulk, if I was skinny and not making gains. Just when you bulk, you want to stay within that plus 10, minus 10 range that you feel comfortable with, that you can ping pong back and forth between and slowly work on your body composition. Emperor Max. First time tuning into a live while on air. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I just want to express my appreciation for the work you do. Thank you, sir. You are one of my guiding light sources of knowledge and wisdom. I can't thank you enough for that. It's an honor. Back when I started working on my physique in high school and years later when I'm close to graduating to college, I'm still learning. Good. And keep learning and ignore all those people trying to put you in boxes of restriction. Have you ever sustained any injuries during your lifting career, or are you mostly injured? I've had many, many minor strains. That's just kind of part of the process. I tore my left shoulder lifting up an empty oil drum at work once in the mid-2000s. Just lifted up an empty oil drum at work like this. Tear. I had to come back 45, 55, 65 on bench. I had to creep back up like 10 pounds a week for a very, very long period of time to heal that. I tore my hamstring doing 455 on squats for a triple, I believe. Something I've done a billion times. It was just completely random. So, yeah, I mean, you play long enough, you're going to have injuries. That's with anything physical. We just want to kind of mitigate the injuries and understand the injuries from sitting on our butt on the couch are usually far worse. So, excuse me, let me get a drink. Big Sam. Recently started bulking. Good. Weigh myself every day for 8 days and my weight fluctuates. Let me see. If there's not a clear trend, if it's just like up this, up, down, then we probably need to add 200 calories. You're going to see some variance. That's normal. Weigh yourself first thing in the morning. That's what you want to do. In your nudies, get up, go wee-wee, weigh yourself first thing in the morning. And you're going to see some variance. That's normal. But if you're not seeing a trend, we probably need to adjust up 200 calories. What are your thoughts on the people, especially younger folks, who are too scared to bulk? I get it. But, muscle building is a specific process, and you have to do the process. You can't create a new process. So you're either going to do the process or you're not going to build much muscle. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to try to persuade them. They can do whatever they want. They can try to believe in the fairy tale of main gaining and not letting the scale go past 143, but you can't end up 195 pounds looking like a unit weighing 143 pounds. Big Paul, how's it going, Paul? Thanks for tuning in. Excuse me, guys. Still feeling a little bit under the weather. Currently running full body 3X, but once it becomes unbearable, thinking of doing a bro split. Do you think a bro split every day? Do you think non-stop bro can fix frequency issues? Not sure what you mean, Lee. Unbearable. I'm thinking of doing a bro split every day. Do you think that a non-stop bro can fix non-stop? There's no issues to fix, Lee. I mean that respectfully. They're self-created demons. There's nothing to fix. You're looking at weekly volume. If you're doing full body 3 days a week, generally you're around 54-ish sets, and you're afraid of going to a body part split, so you're going to add more weekly sets. It's the same weekly volume. You're creating it's a non-question because you're creating a demon that doesn't exist. You're creating an opponent in the gym that doesn't exist. Mr. D, I live bowling. Good. Thanks for the knowledge as always. I really enjoy these streams. Thank you. I appreciate it. About my opinion on the athletic physique, I mean, that athletic mid-sized physiques that are natural are better than classic and open bodybuilding. Well, if you're talking about the steroid abusers, I mean, I respect the sport, but, I wouldn't want to walk around with that kind of mass. In terms of looks and overall health, as well as being able to attract women without turning them off, I will tell you, the older I get, the more I realize women tend to like men with a little bit of size. So a lot of it has to do with age. I'll just leave it at that. Mr. D, we got about 4 questions left, guys. Just a last call for questions. If you have any more questions, get them in now. I would like to note that lifting has raised my bowling average. Good, man. I'm glad to hear it. I wish I could bowl and not suck, to be honest with you. Is doing 30 minutes of jogging? No, the body's not that fragile. You can do 300 minutes a week and it's not going to cause you any issues. The body will adapt. The body's not that fragile. We're being programmed by a bunch of lunatics to believe so. You're fine. Last question, guys, or else I'm hopping off. Is a dumbbell lat row a wide cable row, wide pull-ups, and a cable pullover? The issue here I have is with you don't have a compound row that isn't lat focused. I would probably work in at least a cable row opposite of a dumbbell or pendley row every other week, and you should be good. I'd have to take a look at them. I don't know. I would have to take a look. So if anybody has a link, post one up. I'd have to look at the specific machine. Ian, how's it going, Ian? Is 2 sets to max enough? Ian, you know better. We're not trying to set enough. We're trying to be reasonable. We don't create magic schemes. We're just trying to be reasonable. You do what you can do. Don't try to look for magic, my friend. The magic is progressive overload and hard training. You do what you can do in a season. Big Justin, happy Friday. No questions, but I'm here listening. Thank you. Is Stairmaster from a muscle loss? You're not going to lose muscle from doing Stairmaster. The body's not that fragile. More fragile culture nonsense. It takes a lot to lose muscle, like starving yourself and not lifting for long periods of time. It's almost impossible to lose mass. Doing reps with a little bit of cheating, fine. At the end of a set, yeah. Like if you want to do a few cheat reps at the end of a row or end of a curl or whatever, that's fine. Just count your strict reps and be safe. Just measured the old guns. That's what I'm wanting to hear, man. We're trying to get Troy to 17. Big focus this year on getting that upper body up, and I'm super happy to hear that, Troy. Big Ram. We got that one already. Big David Hardiman just got in. We'll watch this tomorrow. Thank you, man. I appreciate your support. I like training to 0 RIR when I'm struggling to recover. Don't focus on 0 RIR. Just focus on maximum safe quality reps and trying to improve what you did last time. And if 2 sets per exercise works for you, then let it rip, my friend. Have you ever dealt with tight SI joint pain? I'm so old, I think I invented every type of pain. I don't really recall. I honestly don't. And I'm not being dismissive, but I really, really don't recall. Anytime you have a pain, though, you have to analyze what exercises are making it worse. So if something's making it worse, you either need to deload or take a break from it until things get better and then reintroduce. Much gratitude for you assuring me I was previously live that I would still retain some of my gains from 6 years ago. Was able to restart the gym. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Muscle memory is a wonderful thing. Ian, I was on no caffeine, but today, feeling sick, I'm over it a little bit. And I need to reset my 10-100 anyway because I haven't been able to work out or not making excuses, but I just feel like crap. You know what's funny before we get off? I'm wheezing a little bit. I get really bad sinus issues. I don't know why. I'm just somebody that's cursed with it, but occasionally I'll make a video and I have sinus issues in the background. I'm trying to hide it. I also went through a period during the what do we want to call it? The COVID, right? Where I didn't talk about it much, but it felt like I was breathing in smoke for like 6 to 8 months. And for nearly that entire year, it was almost impossible for me to make a video because I felt like I was breathing in smoke. I'm fine now. But anyway, with my sinus issues and running into that, even though I was running, sometimes on my videos, it would sound like I was having a hard time breathing. Even now, I'll get comments on those old videos like, how can you trust somebody that can't even breathe through a video? Like, it's just amazing. People don't stop and take time to listen. They just assume you're some out of shape dude. I'm like, dude, man, come run with me for 12 hours. Let's see what you got. Sam, is upper rest, lower rest, upper? Yeah, absolutely. Just continue to rotate. That's perfectly fine. Split. What is realistic 1-year goal for a person restarting? Number one, you probably want all your strength back after 6 months. I think that's a reasonable goal. And after that, I would just start the bulking process and get on to building at least 5 more pounds of new muscle. All right, guys, that's it. Massive Iron Live is done. I'll be back next Friday. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a good weekend. Hopefully, I'll be back to the lifting next Monday.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.